In the following film, we will discuss a few SCPs and the anomalies they possess. Enjoy!
SCP-2521 Object Class Keter. SCP-2521 is a large humanoid entity that appears entirely black and is composed of an unknown substance. Its head and limbs bear tentacle-like appendages which secrete an adhesive fluid. The entity proves near impossible to contain, as it is capable of teleportation and phasing through objects such as walls. It also shows a strong affinity for any information regarding itself, and will locate and collect any information that is written in words, and will abduct any individual who speaks of said information. Other than a heart symbol that appears on its face, giving rise to the theory this behavior is motivated by affinity rather than malice, its true intentions remain unknown. Because of this, the Foundation has resorted to using symbols and pictographs to handle SCP-2521's information. This method of information exchange comes with its own challenges, as the pictographs and their interpretation vary depending on the individual. Several experiments have been conducted to understand SCP-2521's behavior. In both tests, a Class D personnel is placed in a dark room illuminated by a single lamp. In one test, information on the SCP is provided in pictographs and the subject is instructed to translate said information into writing on a piece of paper. Once written, the SCP materializes in the room and grabs the paper with its tentacles before dematerializing, leaving the personnel unharmed. In another test, the subject is presented with the same initial conditions as the previous test, but is instead instructed to interpret and read the pictographs aloud. The SCP materializes once more, taking hold of the subject before dematerializing. The Foundation has failed to secure SCP-2521, and its whereabouts are currently unknown. The Class D personnel is still declared missing. Still declared missing, huh? Well, that's unfortunate.
SCP-087 Object Class Euclid. SCP-087 is a dark platform staircase located on an undisclosed school campus. It is currently disguised as a janitor's closet so as not to draw the attention of students and staff. The staircase appears unremarkable, except for the fact that it appears to descend deep enough to exceed the depth of the building's architecture and defy the campus's surrounding geography. It is currently unknown if and where the stairwell ends. A light source is required for any personnel exploring SCP-087, as the stairwell contains no light fixtures or windows. However, no light source is effective above 75 watts, as any light exceeding this wattage appears to be absorbed by the stairwell's atmosphere. The stairwell is dark enough that all personnel are incapable of seeing down the full 13 steps that lead to the next platform below. SCP-08701 is an entity that dwells within the stairwell. The 4 expeditions conducted by the Foundation have encountered the entity at different depths, suggesting that it is mobile. Nothing is known about the entity aside from video footage of a pale face illuminated by the exploration's personnel. 08701 is not believed to be the source of the crying noises. Audio and video distortions are associated with the entity when in close proximity. All personnel have been denied access to SCP-087. SCP-2030 Object Class Keter. SCP-2030 is the name given to the anomalous phenomenon of an invasive hidden camera TV show. Its manifestations change to adapt to the technology of the most current video medium. It takes on the box art or video thumbnail of other existing TV shows and movies, seemingly in order to fool customers into selecting it by mistake. While the show itself does not appear to have its own original box art, it most commonly displays the title, Laugh is Fun, with other reported variations being Laugh is Life and Laugh is Laugh. The oldest recorded discovery of SCP-2030 is documented from 1993, where it manifested as a VHS tape. By 2003, it took on the form of a DVD stocked in video rental stores, and by 2012, up to the present day, it can be found in file-sharing websites, video streaming services, and DVD rental kiosks. And while there is no hard evidence that SCP-2030 existed before 1993, the series has 38 seasons, which would date the series' activity to have started around 1976, assuming one season is produced per year. The show expresses itself as a comedy series, depicting people reacting to strange and bizarre situations. Each episode is 10 to 12 minutes long, in which the prank segments follow a variety of themes, from pets and candy to arson and terrorism. The show is hosted by an entity known as SCP-20301, referring to itself as Laffy McLafferson. SCP-20301 presents itself as an adult male wearing a three-piece suit and white wingtip shoes. However, it is only filmed showing its body from the neck down, making identification difficult. In addition to general commentary, SCP-20301 appears to the prank's victims to tell them they are being filmed for TV. Regardless of whether they are distressed or injured, the victims react with recognition to the show's hosts and become placated by its presence. It is uncertain if the show's selection process for its victims is directly involved with its viewership. Research indicates that the show's participants are all persons documented to be deceased or missing the same year they appeared on the program. Investigations into the participants often encounter conflicting evidence about the circumstances of their deaths. Their buried remains also appear to be missing. SCP-1504 Object Class Keter. SCP-1504 presents as a Caucasian male and is overall unremarkable in description, aside from appearing to be impervious to harm. All actions performed by this entity are perceived by all individuals in the surrounding environment as normal, regardless of the extremity of the action. Personnel attacked by SCP-1504 report believing that their resulting injuries are due to circumstances unrelated to the entity. 1504 is also associated with electronic malfunctions, which, combined with its ability to act without notice and being impervious to harm, makes detaining the entity difficult. SCP-1504 was brought to the Foundation's attention initially due to its inability to be killed or injured, and was classified accordingly as an anomalous object. The entity escaped from its confinement in the anomalous object wing of an undisclosed facility. The resulting site-wide security failure initiated the protocol that a nuclear warhead be detonated on site. Post-detonation, there was no confirmed death of SCP-1504, and the entity is currently reported missing. SCP-610 Object Class Keter. SCP-610 is a contagious skin disease transmitted primarily via physical contact, with affected areas located in southern Siberia near Lake Baikal. Symptoms include the appearance of a rash, itching, and increased skin sensitivity. 3 hours after contact with the infection, the victim's skin begins to form blemishes resembling scar tissue, which spread across the entire body, becoming fully engulfed within 5 hours. The infection can reach completion in as little as 5 minutes under warmer environmental conditions. Shortly after completion, the host appears to die and lie lifeless for an average of 3 minutes, after which it will reanimate and operate at 2 to 3 times the activity rate of normal human functioning. Upon reanimation, the scar tissue begins to move of its own accord. It grows rapidly, obscuring human features and contorting the body at random. Some subjects are reported to have grown at least 3 extra limbs during this period of rapid growth. Reacting to a stimulus yet identified, the infected mass will cease movement and effectively grow roots. Upon rooting itself, the infected flesh will spread across the immediate area, consuming all objects in its path seemingly in order to create an ideal environment for the infection to spread to other living organisms. Little is known about the duration of this later stage of infection. As studying SCP-610 is exceedingly challenging, hosts prior to death will seek out aid out of pure human instinct, inadvertently infecting other humans, while subjects having entered the reanimation stage will aggressively attempt to infect healthy life forms. Should the subject still retain organs capable of sight, It will pursue any life form it sees. If the subject has lost its sight, then it appears to be incapable of detecting life beyond a 30-meter radius. The highly contagious nature of the disease has resulted in the Foundation relying on drones and other robots to conduct research. The Foundation was contacted by the Russian government after attempts to investigate phenomena surrounding SCP-610 have failed and resulted in the disappearance of the investigators. Due to the vast area of infection, the Foundation opted to quarantine and seal off any affected areas as per the help of the Russian government, hiding the existence of the disease from the public under the guise of a military operations base.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. This video was sponsored by Express. They sell shirts that represent living life through music. Check out the links in the description. If you're so inclined, please visit our Patreon to support us in making new content.